Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
What a finish, what a goal!
Hello and welcome to a very wet and windy Cardiff City Stadium as the Bluebirds host Watford this evening. Just a reminder, if you're watching us via YouTube, then this match, midweek match, is streamed worldwide, so you can head over to Cardiff City TV and get your matchday pass to watch the game live. I am joined by JP, who is on commentary duty a little bit later. But we'll start off, the starting 11, the teams are out, so we'll go through them first. Cardiff City, since their last outing, have had 2 changes. Romeo is in for Sang, Philogene is in for Ojo, and still on the pitch is Allsop, NG, Kipre, Nkonku, Wintle, Joe Rouse as captain, Rinomota, Callum Dowda and Mark Harris. For Watford, there's 1 change since the last time out. Gaspar is in for Chowdhury, who is suspended. You've got Bachmann, Truce, De Kong, Pedro, Seema, Kamara, Gosling, Bayo, Sarr, Sierralta and Kimebe. So 2 changes for Cardiff City since the last outing. Last time out was a win, 1-0 win, desperately needed for the Bluebirds.
It was early, and I think the Bluebirds played well. It was the same kind of old failing that has been for most of the season, just that clinical nature in the final third. But there was a lot of positives from the game. I thought the manager deserves a lot of credit. He changed the game at half-time with his substitutions. He saw where the weakness was in the opponent, and he brought on an extra attacking player in Jaden Philogene to exploit that, who played so well. He keeps his place tonight. So, yeah, there was a lot of positives from Saturday, but still Cardiff struggled a little bit in that final third, that clinical nature. You know, Mark Harris is the man who is filling the shoes of Callum Robinson at the moment. We know all about him. He's great at stretching defenders and running in behind. His movement's excellent. Maybe not that natural poacher, and that's perhaps what Cardiff City are missing at the moment, but certainly more plus points than negatives on the weekend.
And it was needed after the defeat to Swansea the week before, and what we saw with Callum Robinson, who again is not playing again tonight due to that. But tonight's game, important to get another win under their belt. Watford are a tough side though.
A hugely tough side. You know, they've been an established Premiership side for years. I always say, you know, when Ash and myself are talking, the year we were in the Premiership under Neil Warnock, you know, you've got your Man U's and your Chelsea's and so forth. I thought Watford were the most impressive side we played. They were excellent. But they are a club that yo-yos with their managers. I don't think that lack of stability helps them particularly. Other clubs do the same. But they're a good side at this level. They've got an experienced manager. He's been in there for 7 games, Slaven Bilic. Won 4, lost 3. He doesn't draw at the moment. He's looking for some consistency as well. They have injury problems, particularly in central defence, but they have some quality players, which Ash, of course, will touch upon. This is a tough test for Cardiff City this evening.
And what do you make of the starting 11, the 2 changes? Do you think that's needed?
I think Marlon Romeo, along with Callum O'Dowda, arguably has been, you know, Cardiff's best signing of a busy summer. I think also, and if, you know, again, credit to Ash, if you read his programme article tonight, he talks about the wide players of Watford. They are very, very dangerous in those wide areas, and I think Marlon Romeo, he brings both sides of the game. He can press forward aggressively, but he's also a very solid defensive right back, probably more solid than I gave him credit for when he joined. So Marlon Romeo, I think, as good as Tom Sang has been, and he was very good against Swansea, and he gives Cardiff a lot of options, either at a full-back role or a midfield role. I think if Marlon Romeo's match fit, Sorry, I always call him Romeo. Marlon Romeo plays. As for Jaden Philogene, I think that's just a manager rewarding a player who has played very well. I like that. That's a meritocracy. Jaden Philogene came in and changed the game on Saturday. So you give him the shirt tonight. That's just encouragement for a player. And I look forward to seeing if he can produce a consistent 90-minute performance to build on that positive 45 minutes he had on Saturday.
Now, what tactics do you think are going to be used tonight in order to get that win?
Well, it's going to be 4-3-3 again for Cardiff. It's been mainly their tried and trusted formation this season, but I think the key to Cardiff, they found a nice midfield balance at the moment. Joe Ralls, fit again, returning back to form. He brings work rate and creativity. Andy Rinomhota does all the dirty work, he grinds in there, he'll win tackles, he'll turn over possession, and then Ryan Wintle is the pivot at the bottom of those three, protects his back four well and keeps Cardiff ticking over. So I think Cardiff, for so long, Ali, I didn't think in previous seasons Cardiff could win a midfield battle. I always felt that was a weakness for the Bluebirds. I think with this midfield three, they can win that midfield battle. They can go up against anybody. They're going up against a two in midfield for Watford, so they've got the extra man. They can potentially win that. And then it's about getting the ball into the channel areas. Philogene with his pace, Harris with his ability to run in behind, and then Callum O'Dowd will work all day long as well. But for me, for Cardiff City, it's that spine of the team. You've got your best centre-half pairing out there in Kitbray and NG, but that midfield three, I think, is a really nice balance. Rawls, Rinomhota and Ryan Wintle. Cardiff City have a really good platform in those three.
Now, they're in 17th position on the table at the moment, so out of the relegation zone. Do you think that will help almost? They're playing to win, they're not playing to survive tonight.
I think the championship is just such an unforgiving beast. If you win again tonight, you go up the table. If you lose again tonight, everyone looks down the table. It's just that Saturday, not Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Tuesday slog. I think Cardiff City know that they need, by the World Cup break, to have moved up the tables. There's still pressure, because I think if you come back, or you go into that World Cup break and you come back the other side and you're looking more towards the bottom of the table than you are towards the top half, then you start to think, well, is this where we're going to be for the rest of the season? Are we in a scrap? So I think these next few games, tough games before the World Cup break, so important for Cardiff City to carry momentum. Mark Hudson, is he going to be the permanent manager? He wants that success. And I think you're right, Ali, with that point. Everyone was down after Swansea and the defeats that preceded that. Saturday was a welcome kind of lift for everybody. That needs to continue tonight.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Mark wants to stay in that position. And so a win here tonight is important. The win over the next sort of few days, I suppose it is, because they're so regular. That's important for him as well as the players.
Yeah, it hugely is. He's someone who loves being at Cardiff City. I assume he wants the job. He's making all the right noises, but it's about winning games in football. And if he wants to stay in the job, which I think he does, I think he's done okay so far. I'd give him, a B plus. But winning is everything in football, so he wants another win tonight.
Well, we did hear from him and gave his preview on tonight's game.
Well, we know Watford are a good team. They've got really good players. They've got some individual match winners. So we need to be, again, at our stadium. We need to be looking forward to it. It's an opportunity for them to come to us, and we've got to deliver on our game plan. We've got to stick to that. We've got to play our way, which we will do. But we know they're a good side, and they've got, like I said, match winners, and we'll have to be right at the top level to get results. But we're looking forward to it. We've asked, and what the squad should have is that there are opportunities. We've rotated quite enough for everyone to know that as long as they're pushing, and they'll get their opportunity, and they've got to push every day, which they are. And you've got to be ready when called upon, and actually show that. Well, they showed that on the weekend with making changes at half time, positive changes, that they were ready to come and make an impact in a game, and that's all we can ask for, is that they're all ready and raring to go. I do care, and I care about the players individually, as a team, and that's just not just the players, that's staff as well, everyone involved in this football club. I know the importance of that, and trying to keep everyone together, and that's not just the training ground, that's people at the stadium as well, and it's trying to sort of, I suppose, a unified approach to a club, and it's a family club, and that's really important to me. We're all working hard and together, as you should, to be as positive with the results as we can. So we have an individual approach to each game. We have a greater outlook of what I suppose the plans are, the monthly plans, and making the players have their complete clarity of what they've got to expect in the coming weeks and when they're supposed to be in. So, yeah, I mean, the more positive results, the better. And we know we've got a tough one Wednesday night against Watford.
as you can see, I am joined by Ash, who is also on commentary duties this evening. Before we talk about the football, just need to talk about the beard. It's gone.
Well, as you can see from the attire, I wasn't expecting to be on camera this evening, so I apologise for that. That's Roger Johnson's indiscretion with his car on the M5. Yeah, he's had a breakdown on the M5, his car, not him. So he's not here tonight. And secondly, I wasn't expecting to show off the cheeks and the jowls and the chins to you, the listeners, the viewers at home. Yeah, my family have had a fright, I've had a fright, and now I'm forcing it on you, so I do apologise. Yeah.
Right, well, back to the football, and we'll go into sort of Watford's starting 11 now. Yeah. They are 8th in the table. They've had one change since their last outing. What do you make of the starting 11 tonight?
I mean, it's a big evening for them. You've spoken to JP about Cardiff, and Cardiff, it's all about momentum for Cardiff, and we're trying to put points on the board, and you're trying to climb up the table. But this is a big occasion for Watford. It's a real chance for them to move back into the top 6, somewhere they haven't been for a little bit of time now, and they're a little bit hamstrung. They're going with what they've got, quite frankly. They've got a lot of players coming back from injury, but at the moment, in terms of players fit and firing and in their natural positions, they're really going with what they've got. So they've had injuries at the centre-back positions. Trusty Kong and Sierralta, pretty much the only two fit centre-halves they've got at the moment. They've lost Craig Cathcart for a little bit. They've lost each of these two for little bits as well. So they're really struggling for any consistency in the back line. Mario Gaspar's come back in at right back this evening, a real experienced campaigner, 31 years of age, got 3 Spanish caps to his name a little while ago, but he won the Europa League 18 months ago with Villarreal. He's a really experienced operator in that area, and he's going to have his work cut out this evening against busy championship wingers in Philogene and Callum O'Dowda. So I think in terms of the back line in particularly, he's gone for experience, and he's gone for the fittest four he can get on the pitch, quite frankly.
Yeah, because you mentioned momentum. They are going for their 4th win from 5 outings in the championship. It is all about momentum, and they are wanting to keep winning before the sort of break for the World Cup, but they want to be pushing up to the high positions. Yeah,
look, they've had their early season managerial change that we knew they'd have. I really feel for Rob Edwards. If you look at the statistics, Slaven Bilic is a real coup for any club in the Championship. He's an experienced manager. He's proven at the Premier League level and international level, let alone the Championship. But Rob Edwards lost 2 games in his time as Watford manager. Slaven Bilic has already lost 3. What they're not doing now is drawing games. So it's up to you. Pick your poison. Do you want to be drawing games and getting points ticking over, because Cardiff wouldn't mind that, or do you want to be winning games and losing every other week, which is what Watford have been doing? As you said, they've arrested that. They've got 3 wins in their last 4 games. It seems like they've started to course correct. But you go back to Rob Edwards and you look at the 2 losses he's got on that CV that got him the sack. One of them's against Queen's Park Rangers and the other one's against Blackburn Rovers. Both those 2 teams sit in the top 4 currently. Yeah. With hindsight, and you've got to have a bit of hindsight about you in the Championship, I think he did. I think he was very, very harshly treated.
Do you think that they are sort of a bit unsettled at the moment at this point in the season? It's all, they've got a lot of players not playing who they would ideally like to. The change in the management, it's all sort of up in the air for them at the moment.
It is. They've got a player back in his natural position this evening in Dan Gosling in the middle of the park. He was having to play at right back the last 2 games because they didn't have a fit right back. Mario Gaspar's fit again, so it's allowed Dan Gosling to go back into midfield. He's having to start in midfield because they've only got one other fit central midfielder. Chowdhury picked up his 5th yellow card at the weekend. He's suspended this evening, so it's only really Kayembe they've got to go with. They could force Tom Dele-Bashiru back in. He's on the bench this evening. He hasn't been seen since April because of a serious knee injury. So, like I said, even with the resources that they have and the Premier League parachute payments and the huge budget they have compared to some teams in this division and a quite astronomical academy setup, they really are running a little lightly at the moment, and Slaven Bilic he's really choosing 11 from 13 or 14.
What kind of game are you expecting tonight out there? How do you think it's going to go?
I think you're going to see a Watford team trying to play front foot football. I think if you look at really the big team selection for them was up front and in the number 10 position in behind. Bale's got 4 goals this season. He's done okay. His first season in the Championship football. We know the quality of João Pedro. You know, he's a really, he's still only 21, but this is his third full season in English football. So he's a proven goal scorer. He's had a good start to this season. They could have put João Pedro up top and played the young Colombian Yasser Asprilla in as a number 10 in behind. He's had a really good start to the season. They're trying to ease him in gently. He's a very talented player indeed, but they haven't, and essentially they've gone with two strikers instead. They're gonna ask João Pedro to play a little bit deeper and to get involved in midfield and link-up play, but ostensibly he's gone with two goal scorers. You're going to see a Watford team wanting to play front foot football. Slaven Bilic was very complimentary about Cardiff, surprisingly so to a lot of Cardiff fans, about the way our season started. He's seen a lot he's liked about Cardiff performances. I think what he's going to see from Cardiff tonight is a lot of counter-attacking football. Cardiff trying to congest that middle of the park with the midfield three we've got, a midfield three that have controlled games in recent games, and going against a patch together two for Watford, that's where Cardiff could get some joy. But we are going to have to soak up some pressure, and then we're going to have to use Philogene and Callum O'Dowda in the wide areas and really try and attack them out wide on the counter-attack.
Yeah, I mean, very complimentary about Cardiff, the fact that there's such a difference in the table between the teams, but it's important for both of them for different reasons to get the win tonight.
It is, and I think, look, it's the nature of football, isn't it? If you watch Cardiff play week in, week out, every 90 minutes, and you're paying your hard-earned money to come here, then the results and the performances for a lot of this season haven't been good enough. If you're watching it with an analytical eye, or if you've got to be a little bit more balanced, like we have to be on commentary sometimes, then I think you can tip your hat and you can nod to some of the good things that Cardiff have done this season. And I think Slaven Bilic, like us at times, what he's seen is a team growing, a team still finding their feet with each other. You know, 17 new signings, they're still getting to know each other. It's been a lot of chop and change from game to game. 2 changes again this evening. You know, there's no real consistency with team selection because the fixtures have come thick and fast. So I think if you're an opposition manager looking at tempering how do you combat this Cardiff team, then there are things to be worried about, I think. Like I said, you maybe don't see that when you're paying close to £30 a game and you're coming here with expectations of winning every game, as Cardiff fans are doing it, and rightly so. You know, I think it's a division at the moment that's fairly low on quality, and I do feel for Cardiff fans who just think, if we can just put a run together, we can put ourselves right amongst, you know, first the top half of the table and then put ourselves in playoff contention. But first, going into this World Cup break, it's about putting points on the board, because still, we could move into the top half with a result this evening, but equally, we're only 2 points off the relegation zones. It's so congested in there.
Yeah, and you mentioned, you know, all the signings, almost a whole new team in the summer that came in. At what point do they start thinking that it's gelling, it's working? Because there is a lot of change every game, so it's hard to get consistency there.
I think it's February, to be honest. I that might seem absurd, but this 4 weeks the team are going to get off. Not off, I mean off fixtures. Yeah. I mean, they're going to go 4 weeks on the training ground. I think that's going to be so crucial, because that's as long as they had in the summer to get to know each other. So to really bed in some more ideas with another manager with his own ideas, you know, in Mark Hudson at the moment, I think that's going to be crucial, not just for us, for every team in this division. And I think coming out of a busy festive period, middle of January towards February, I think you'll finally see this division start to take some shape. As it is now, it's just a jackpot, quite frankly, yeah.
So, final prediction for the game?
I think if Cardiff, we talk about this all the time, bench tonight, Max Waters is back in. I think Mark Hudson expects to be playing from behind. It's a bench setup to go chasing a game if we need a result, and playing counter-attacking football. I'm quite optimistic that there is something on the table from Cardiff, but I think we'll have to come from behind.
Well, we'll see. The game will kick off in just a few minutes. Just a reminder that if you're watching on YouTube, then head over to Cardiff City TV. This is streamed worldwide, even in the UK, so get your Matchday pass and you can watch that live.
Good win. I think we dominated the whole game. The only negative is we didn't score more, but yeah, after a tough week, it was a really important win, and now we need to build on it with another home game. I think we've done really well in some games and it's been really exciting, but then some games we've dropped our levels. So I think if we can find a balance and a little bit of momentum going, I think we're performing much better than last year anyway. So I think we just need to keep working hard and see where we get to. No, exactly the same as the manager. We want to win every game. We've got another home game on Wednesday, and Cardiff's a tough place to come. So, if we can get another win under our belts and then keep building from there, really. So, anything can happen in this league. If we go on a good run, who knows where we can get. So, yeah, hopefully we can make the most of this home game, and a few big games coming up before the international break.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Right foot, it goes for the goal. Brilliant goal, Junior Hoylett. It's 3-1, and it's another one of those strikes, not dissimilar really to the goal against Wolves. Lovely finish, and with 11 minutes to go, Cardiff have clawed one back. Not enough time, I wouldn't have thought. But,
it's a glorious effort from Hoylett. You hit the nail on the head. We haven't seen Hoylett with the ball at his feet enough this afternoon. He's been asked to do an awful lot of defending, and as ever has put in a real shift out there. Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
What a finish, what a goal!
Good evening everyone, welcome to Cardiff City TV, welcome to Matchday Live with myself, Ashley James, and joining me in a few moments time, Connor Pearce here for live commentary of the Bluebirds home game with promotion hopefuls Watford. If this game had been earlier in the season, you'd probably say promotion favourites Watford, but it's not been the campaign that many expected at Vicarage Road, it's not been the campaign that many had hoped for at Cardiff City Stadium, but it should make for an intriguing affair nonetheless, as you see both teams there led out by this evening's captains for Cardiff, Joe Rolls, and for Watford, William Troost-Ekong.
For the Bluebirds, it's a case of building on that result at the weekend. Hard-earned, hard-fought 1-0 victory, courtesy of Jayden Philogene second half curled effort, and 2 changes for the team this evening. In comes Marlon Romeo, fit again to start in the right back position. Out goes Tom Sang, and there's a change on the left side of midfield where Jayden Philogene, the match winner at the weekend, starts in the place of Shea Ojo. There's also a return to the bench of Matt Waters and Curtis Nelson, with Cardiff keeping the midfield 3 that control things quite nicely against the Millers at the weekend. There's changes for Watford as well, just one in terms of personnel. Mario Gaspar comes in, the experienced Spaniard, to play at right back. That means a reshuffle in the middle of the park where Dan Gosling, who had been playing as a makeshift right back in the last couple of games, slots into his natural midfield role. He replaces Lester Loney. Hamza Chowdhury suspended for the evening after picking up his 5th yellow card of the season. Slaven Bilic goes with 2 up top in the form of João Pedro and Vacan Bayo, 4 and 3 goals respectively for those 2 Hornets. João Pedro, Brazilian striker, got 9 goals in his last season in the Championship, just 4 last season, mainly off the bench in the